Hey everybody, welcome to this Feel Good Friday tapping video. We are going to dive straight into the good stuff. This is all about getting right with how much is enough for you, especially if you're a parent, especially if you are somebody who works hard a lot and has a tendency not to see the value in how much you do. I really encourage you to take a look at this, especially moving into your weekend, so that you can take a load off on the weekend, right? You've done enough, you've provided enough, you've produced enough, you've gotten results enough. And so let's just get tapping and see if we can shift this not enoughness into fully enough, right? So we're going to start tapping on the side of the hand. Now, if you haven't tapped with me before, you can just tap where I tap and say what I say. And if you're not in a place to tap or talk out loud, you can just listen to this kind of as like a guided meditation or an active meditation, and you can come back to it and do the actual tapping with me. But you will get benefits just by listening as well. So we're going to start by tapping on the side of the hand and say, even though I should have gotten more done this week, I'd like to love and accept myself for what I have done. Even though I missed some things on my list, I'd like to love and accept what I did get checked off. Especially because my to-do list is never ending. It feels like I never get enough done. But I'd like to love and accept myself for what I did do. Because maybe that is good enough. Right on. So we're going to go to the top of the head now and say, I never get it all done. Eyebrow point. There's always a never-ending to-do list. Side of the eye. I can't keep up. Underneath the eye. Everyone always needs me to do something. Underneath the nose. It's draining and depleting. Underneath the mouth. I feel exhausted and overwhelmed. Collarbone point. There's never enough time to have fun or feel good. Underneath the arms. It's all just too much. Underneath the chest. Why does it all fall on me? Wrist points. Why is this always mine to carry? Top of the head. I don't want to deal with all of this right now. Eyebrow point. So I'm done. Side of the eye. But if I don't do it, who will? Underneath the eyes. No one will get it right. Underneath the nose. It's all just too much. Underneath the mouth. I'm just so done. Collarbone point. I give myself permission to be done for a minute. Underneath the arms. I'm done. Underneath the chest. I give myself permission to let it all go. Wrist points. I'm done. Okay. Take a nice gentle breath there. Take a sip of water if you have. And just notice or jot down any emotions that came up with that last round. How did that make you feel? What does it mean to you when you say, I'm done? What is the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Where do you feel that in your body? And how intense is it? So just kind of taking stock of what it brings up in your mind. So there was actually one more round because I have this all written out because I went through this and really dug into how it feels when you feel like you don't have fun. There's never enough time to have fun. There's always something else to do, something else. Somebody always needs something else from you. And you have, no time for yourself, for your fun things, for your rest time, for whatever, right? You have no time for that. And there's always this reframe process that happens where initially we think that we have to do everything, we have to do everything for everybody else before we can do anything for ourselves. We have to prioritize everybody before we can prioritize ourselves. But what if we could do this differently? What if we could see it as, when I take care of myself first, I can take care of so much more and do so much more for everybody else. So of course, we're not wanting to take care of ourselves first for other people. But if that gets us into the habit of taking care of ourselves and prioritizing ourselves and making ourselves matter, then take it. Where it does not have to be perfect. It does not have to make sense. So if you were to get behind believing, if I take care of myself and if I make myself matter and if I prioritize myself first, that way I can do more and give more to others, would that change the way you fall on your priorities list? I'd really be curious to know that, because even if you just get yourself higher in the ranks of priorities and you sit higher up on that list for a little bit, there's going to be another reframe. There's going to be another redefine, a shift or a pivot point where you're going to know that you deserve more, that you're worthy of more, that what you do is enough, and you can be higher and higher and higher. And you just kind of take extra steps higher and higher and higher until you're number one, right? Or until you start to really understand that maybe you're not always going to be number one, depending on what your life experience is and what you have going on right now, but you will prioritize yourself and you understand it's like musical chairs of priorities. It's like sometimes you're number one, sometimes you're number five, sometimes you're number three, sometimes you're number 10, sometimes, and it just really depends, and you shuffle. Nothing is set in stone, nothing is rigid, nothing is set in stone, which is a really, really amazing way to look at it, because then it doesn't matter if you're number one day and number 100 the next. You know what it's like to be higher up on the priority list, and you know how to get back up there. And then you're not beating yourself up when you find that you notice yourself more towards the bottom or more towards the lower end of the priorities, right? So it's always moving, it's always revolving. And it really just depends on your mood and what you have going on in your life. So we're going to go into round 2 right now. And we're going to open up to, playing with yes, I can, no, I can't, right? So there's like that, ooh, yes, 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 no, 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 right? And we're going to play with that swinging pendulum between hell yes and oh shit, no. So we're going to work on that. So we're going to start tapping on the side of the hand, taking a nice gentle breath in and out. And we're going to say, even though I say I'm done, I feel guilty, but I'd like to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I said I'm done, now I feel like a shitty mom. It's a sharp, oh wait, sorry. I need to take this break. And I'd like to love and accept myself now, exactly where I am. especially because I'm always taking care of everything else. It's a sharp disruption for me. And it's a sharp disruption for my family when I say I'm done. But I need this break. And I'd like to love and accept myself despite how hard this feels. Good job. We're going to go to the top of the head now and say, I feel guilty. Eyebrow point. I feel like a shitty mom. Side of the eye. I feel like a shitty wife. Underneath the eye. I feel like a shitty friend or coworker. Underneath the nose. Is this worth it? Underneath the mouth. Maybe I should give in. Collarbone point. Maybe I should pick it all back up. Underneath the arms. Maybe I should just push through it and keep the peace. Underneath the chest. Maybe I should just push through it and keep it familiar and comfortable. Wrist points. Maybe what I want and need doesn't matter. Top of the head. Maybe what I need, moms have to struggle and sacrifice. Eyebrow point. That's just how it works. Side of the eye. I can't prioritize myself. Underneath the eye. I'd be doing everything wrong then. Underneath the nose. This feels messed up. Underneath the mouth. Maybe this is completely ass backwards. Collarbone point. Maybe believing that moms are supposed to struggle and sacrifice. Underneath the arms. Maybe that's not what I want to believe anymore. Underneath the chest. But can I just change that? This point, is that allowed? Top of the head. Do I have permission to change how I feel about motherhood? Eyebrow point. Do I have permission to change how I do things? Side of the eye. Can I just change how things are? Underneath the eye. I'd like to believe that I can. Underneath the nose. And I wonder what it would be like to do that. Underneath the mouth. Maybe I could do things differently. Collarbone point. Maybe it would be better to prioritize myself more. Underneath the arms. Maybe then I would be more rested. Underneath the chest. Maybe then I could be more patient. Wrist points. Maybe then I could take care of more things. Top of the head. Maybe I would be more happy. Eyebrow point. If I took care of myself first. Underneath or side of the eye. I wonder how this would change my life. underneath the eye. Maybe it's important to prioritize myself. Underneath the nose, maybe I would get more energy. Underneath the mouth, I wonder how this would change my life. Collarbone point. And maybe I'm open to seeing this a little differently today. Okay, good job. Take a nice gentle breath, sip of water, tea, or coffee, whatever you might have. And just noticing how that sits with you. How does that land with you? I love working with EFT in the maybe buts kind of area because it's almost being a little rebellious, because that's something that is exciting to me sometimes. It's kind of cheeky, you know, it kind of gives you that little rebellious cheeky sense, but you're not needing to do anything about it right away, right? It really gives you permission to acknowledge how you feel and to like play with how you would like things to be a little, like I said, a little cheeky, a little bit more rebellious, a little bit more sassy about how you approach things. But again, you don't actually have to do anything, which is sometimes a really hard thing. When you want to acknowledge something, I think I really do feel like we don't acknowledge some things because we don't know how to do them after the fact. Like we don't know what to do with it after we acknowledge it. And what if some days we don't have to acknowledge or do anything after we acknowledge it anyway, right? What if we could just acknowledge something and then leave it hanging in the universe and just be open to what comes next, right? So totally releasing the how, which is so much easier said than done, but it's a fun thing to practice and explore. So for this last round, I'm just taking a look here at my notes. So what if you were ready to do things differently, but you didn't know what to do? So let's play with that a little bit. Like that whole, like I just said, we're acknowledging we don't, I mean, it's messed up to think that we have to struggle and sacrifice at the expense of ourselves as mothers, and give and go and do for everybody else before we can take and receive and feel taken care of and supported, right? And again, taking it back to if you need to climb the rungs of that priority ladder by saying, if I give myself more, then I will have more energy, time, patience, fill in the blank for others. It's still, you're still getting the same result. You are still feeling good. You are still taking care of yourself. You're still giving yourself what you need and what you want and making it a priority. And somewhere along the way, something else will shift and change for you to be like, okay, now I'm ready to do this for myself. When I started getting into this personal development work and, excuse me, doing my inner work, it was when my kids were toddlers and it was all about them. I want to be a better mom for them. I want to be a better wife for my husband. I want to be happier for everybody, because when I'm happy, you know, I'm a generator. So when I'm happy, everybody feels that energy and everybody benefits from that. So if I'm good, everybody else will benefit. And somewhere along the way, I realized I'm not friggin' done yet. This is for me. This is 100% for me now these days. This is not for my kids. This is not for my husband. This is not for my work. This is for me. This is what I love. These things and doing this work is for me, and I love it. And so, yes, it benefits everybody else, but that's a bonus because it benefits me first and foremost. And I'm okay with that. And it doesn't feel greedy. It doesn't feel self-centered. It feels very self-appreciative, and it feels very self-assured. It just gives me a lot of room to breathe, honestly. So let's go into this last round of tapping here and just really opening up to the possibility of when we have more time, energy, patience, space, whatever, happiness, harmony within us and around us, it affects everybody else. So when, I mean, I don't really enjoy that saying, like, when mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, but it's kind of true. And I mean, we're not doing this just to like placate. I don't know if that's the right word. We're not doing this just to make mama happy. we're doing this because it benefits everybody. And we're doing it from a very loving place instead of a very like resentful kind of passive aggressive place. That's what it feels like. Okay, so we're going to tap again on the side of the hand and say, even though I've been doing things this other way for so long, I've been putting everybody else first and myself last for so long. I'm open to seeing things differently now. And I'd like to love and accept myself as I go. Even though things might need to adjust. It might feel good to shake up the routine. Might feel good to bring some small changes to the mix. I think I'm ready to get on board with this more today. And I love and accept where I'm at right now. Especially because I'd like to feel good. And I'd like to have more fun in my life. I'm curious if this could help with that. And I think I'm ready for this today. And I love and accept myself now. And I love and accept this idea a little more now. Good job. We're going to go to the top of the head. And we're going to say, I've been doing things the same for a long time. Eyebrow point. I could use a helpful change right now. Side of the eye. So I forgive myself for believing. Underneath the eye that things have to stay the same. Underneath the nose. I forgive myself for believing. Underneath the mouth that things have to stay hard. Collarbone point. I forgive myself for believing. Underneath the arms that I have to keep things the same so I don't rock the boat. Underneath the chest. I forgive myself for believing. Wrist points that I have to sacrifice my happiness. Top of the head. That I have to sacrifice my needs and my wants. Eyebrow point. I have to sacrifice my time and my energy. Side of the eye. In order to be a good mom. Underneath the eye. What if doing things differently today? Underneath the nose. Would make me a good mom too. Underneath the mouth. And I give myself permission to try this out today. Oh, excuse me. Collarbone point. I'm open to little ways of doing things differently today. Underneath the arms. Things that will bring me more happiness. Underneath the chest. That will bring me more ease. Wrist points. And that will bring me more patience. Top of the head. If I'm happier and more patient. Eyebrow point. I can handle what's on my plate with more ease. Side of the eye. It's easier for me to be there for my kids. Underneath the eye. And it would make it easier for me to be there for my spouse. underneath the nose. It might make what I have to do a lot lighter. Underneath the mouth. And I would love to feel a lot lighter today. Okay, last little round. We're going to go back to the top of the head. I know we're kind of messing around here, but that's okay. Just follow along and say, I could choose to keep doing things the hard way today. Eyebrow point. Or I could choose to loosen my grip. Side of the eye. I could choose to let heaviness hang over my head. Underneath the eye. To keep white knuckling my day today. Underneath the nose. To keep being exhausted, overwhelmed, and upset. Underneath the mouth. Or I could choose to try something different. Collarbone point. I could choose to be a more rebellious mama. Underneath the arms, to loosen my grip and lighten the load of my day. Underneath the chest, for the sake of being happier and more patient. Wrist point. And I give myself permission to play with this today. All right. Again, take a nice gentle breath, sip of water, and see how that lands with you. For me, it's fun, it's playful, it definitely lightens the day. And take a look at, like, what is it that you want today? If you, again, I use this analogy in a different video that I had just done around if you had a magic cup of coffee, you know, a magic coffee cup or a magic coffee or a tea, whatever you drink, right? If you had a magic glass, coffee cup, and a drink inside of it, and you could ask for whatever you wanted that day, what would it be that you would like to feel? How would you like to feel? And play with that. Be rebellious. Like, it is rebellious this day and age to think that you know, you don't have to sacrifice as a mom, that you get to have your cake and eat it too, that you get to be patient and present with yourself and patient and present with your kids, with your spouse, with your relationships, other relationships, with your, you know, with your work, with what you do. There is no limit. There are no hard and fast rules. And I mean, we have been shown time and time again over the last few years that there are no hard and fast rules, and that if we want to do things a certain way, we can, because what we thought was set in place and structured and what maybe kept us safe or along the right track can fall apart in a heartbeat. And why do we need to play by their rules? Why do we need to play by their rules, like whoever they are? Like why do we have to play? Why do we have to play with the rules that were preconditioned or predetermined by somebody else? Excuse me. And yeah, be a rebel against it. Maybe being a rebel isn't your thing, but maybe you could be more playful. Maybe you could be lighter about it. Maybe you could be you know, what is your thing? How do you want to feel towards things? How do you naturally feel towards things? And how can you apply that to doing things differently, doing things in your own way? And, you know, see what comes up, see what comes up for you in that. If there's any residual energy, you know, go through another round of tapping and just tap and breathe, like feel that energy in your body, feel that emotion in your body, and just tap on the points. Don't even say anything, just breathe. You know, you can use tapping for so much, and there's so many other tools as well, right? But find how you want to feel, find a tool that can help you bring it more into reality for you, to help you generate it and hold it more in your body and in your energy field. And then go do your day. sounds so basic and simple, but it's often those basic, simple things that sound super easy that are not easy, right? And again, I just shared this in another video that I did, but we do hard things every single day. Some of us really thrive in, pressure situations and experiences, right? And we really shine. And so why not create that pressure for ourselves where we become the diamond, right? We become that gemstone that is able to just make it all happen, right? Like I don't know if this is making sense. I hope it's making sense. But we do hard things every single day, so why not do this work even though it feels hard sometimes? Why not do this work? Again, because it has a huge return on your investment and a huge impact on the future and how you move forward in your life. So have an amazing rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed today, and we'll chat with you guys very, very soon. Thanks. Bye.